budget. And we've added, over the course of 2 years, small number of modules. I think that we need to have in our plan over the next couple of years to complete all the packages that we need to run town hall efficiently. The various departments are absolutely able to communicate with one another. The report structure, I think we've addressed a little bit now. But,
Joe, would you comment on that? The
Yeah.
reporting structure for Munis?
Yeah, we had one webinar with Crystal Reports, March 22nd.
And
It was a good introduction. Now we need to take the next step, and
what's the next
which we
step?
will. We're going to try to create some reports. That's our next plan. I know I'm
Should we
interested in
consider
a couple of.
bringing in some help to do that?
We have the consultant that we've been using for Munis right along. And he sat in on that demonstration with us, and he's willing to come in and sit down with any one of us, particularly with me, and create a crystal report.
If I can add to that, I was there for part of most of that webinar, and the users that we had there, I saw them afterwards. They were on their PCs and trying it, and so there was a lot of interest, and there was a lot of need. The users, I think, kind of got that first course that we had online. They got the concept, and they were trying to build it, and so it wasn't just business as usual. I thought it was a good first step, and if we could continue that, that would be, I think that would really help us utilize all this information. We have a wealth of information. It's just trying to satisfy our own departmental or special needs that we may have. But I really applaud what Joe has done here, and then.
Well, we're forming, re-energizing the IT committee for the purposes of looking at some of these things and make some recommendations, and make maybe the next round of capital investments in the infrastructure here.
And I have the cost for that.
Yeah.
It's been held. That price is still being held. They know we're looking to go to the next step. I've been in communications with the Munis people.
I think
I guess what I'm looking for is, maybe it's not in this budget, but what's the plan over the next, let's say, 5 years? Where do we have Munis fully
Yeah, we should be
integrated?
complete. We should be complete in 5 years.
So
hope it would be
I
two.
think the board would like to see the plan, What are the things that we need? What's the time frame for each of these modules that we want to get implemented? And how much is it gonna cost?
Actually, I have
That's
most
what
of
we're
that.
looking for.
Yeah, if I can,
Yes, Jim.
maybe you're addressing him of it. We can't underestimate the value of training. The training that we had with Munis originally really was table building, and we learned it just by being there. We learned some of but we didn't really. There's still a lot more to be understood, and however the training is, whether it's through Munis or an outside consultant, in my opinion, it would be extremely valuable. And
Then that should be part of the plan.
yeah,
You're right.
and
And you budget it.
that's one of. I'm sure these are the things that are going to be vetted quite well with our new the committee we're starting.
We developed a list of potential projects after we met with the FAC back in the fall. We discussed that list internally, and we will be putting that forward at our first meeting on Thursday. I would expect that what's going to come from that is similar to what you suggested, as a priority list and some capital funding requests.
Yeah, I was going to mention the meeting on Thursday. I apologize, because I'm not sure if you were included on those emails. I thought you were, but I apologize if
Well,
for
if
some reason it wasn't.
if they were over the weekend, I might have missed them.
Yeah, and they were. They were just these past few days. But we're going to be meeting on Thursday, and I think primarily what we're going to do is to go over again and again to find out all the programs, all the systems that we need to address and look at, identify maybe through redundancy, the low-hanging fruit or whatever, and pull everything together with all the members on the committee, and begin to go forward and develop the plan to include the munis as part of that strategy. So it's going to be an exciting meeting in that regard. So I'm sure there are tons of questions, that need to be asked, and if anybody wants to include those questions and give them to us to be discussed at the ITAC meeting, then that would be great, because it would be very helpful, because disseminate everything.
I would see, I was pointed out earlier when the town clerk was here, that the laser fiche is really the first initiative that I'd like to see us tackle. I think it's something that for fairly modest cost can be upgraded and implemented and provide a means of making us much more efficient in our operations in terms of document retrieval, records retrieval. So that's our first place where we're starting.
Greg, or Gene, in your budget proposal between level fund and level services, the one big item sticking out is purchase of services. Is that maintenance, is this maintenance fees or consultants? Or?
The bulk of it is munis. Last year, we had to use some carryover funds to cover it.
I sent out an email to everyone today, so if you.
It's a total of about $45,000, and I think I had 38 in it originally, so that's 7,000 there. Also, a service agreement on network equipment, servers and switches, not computers. We've taken that out a year ago. Those are coming up. We have some computers that are going to be their service agreements need to be replaced, and that's about. My estimate is about $6,600. And the other $1,400 was just on professional services, because that always seems to be a little bit short. But that's the only area that is kind of in question. The other two is munis and the service agreements. Everything else is level funded. And some of them will go up a little bit, but they're...
Well, what I have on the budget sheet here, unless I've overlooked something, is under an account 503030, professional services dash data processing.
Yes.
Which I think is the items you've listed are in that one account number?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, going forward, if we...
It's about $25,000, right?
1,500.
Number
15,000.
Looking ahead, if we could have more granularity on that, it would be helpful to me for budgeting, because it's all kind of lumped together.
Well, you could have a sub-sheet or something under there with the
I
breakdown.
suppose.
What doesn't get done with a level funded budget is those items.
Yes. And munis is, the $1,400 could, go away. The other two would have to be absorbed with the...
Can you list them again, because all what I have is the total.
A munis software support, originally, for a year ago, I had 38,000, but it was actually 45, and because of...
So it's 45.
Right.
Okay.
So that's an increase of 7. And then my...
7K.
Yeah, and the estimate is the other, we have about 8 devices, network servers, switches, for a total of about $6,600. So that totals $13,600. And the other $1,400 was professional services, which could be eliminated. But those 7,000 and 6,600 would have to be absorbed with something else, maybe consulting service.
Maintenance agreements or just refurbishment or replacement of equipment?
This is maintenance agreements on servers and switches, not computers.
Okay.
And the other one, I think I would probably have to absorb it from professional services, the consultants I use. we
Okay.
use here.
Well, I think you gotta be careful, okay? He has 177 employees he has to service.
I'm just trying
I
to
know,
understand what the
but I don't
difference
want
is.
him to, I want everyone to keep in mind, 177 employees. We shouldn't be cutting services. I mean, especially outside services right now, and you're the only guy in the department. I mean, that's a lot of people. I don't know how we actually been able to string it all together this far. Please,
Well, I appreciate
we
that.
should give it some thought.
Ever
It's
see
a
this car
compliment.
parked out front?
That's a compliment to him.
I'm,
Trying to flesh out what he's,
Cobwebs around.
I know you are.
the steps he's taken.
Rust.
Right, or what he's identified
It was
as
buried in a snowbank.
items that, based on a level funded budget, wouldn't get done. And I'm trying to understand the seriousness of
And
this, okay?
I appreciate that.
Okay.
I just wanted to state that so people
I'm not
understood.
trying to cut anything.
I appreciate,
If anything,
yeah, appreciate the
trying to
comment.
understand why we should not add some money to this budget.
Probably a good idea.
Any other questions for Gene?
Yeah, I have a question. Can you just briefly explain the backup system for me?
Currently, we have nightly backups.
Tape?
Up.
Are they tape? What are they?
We-
Online, offline? I mean, I meant remote. Is it remote? Is it remote access?
No, we don't have remote yet. That's being talked about, will be,
Okay.
that's one of our agenda items.
Nightly?
Nightly for all the servers and selected PCs, and they primarily are the administrative and department heads. We don't have the capacity to back everybody's data files up. Those are backed up nightly, and then every Friday, there's a second backup in addition to that, just as a fallback in case there was something, and that is that's not compressed, it's just
Just okay.
just a straightforward cut, it's a mirror copy of all the server data, so that if there's a problem with that weekly backup, in the compressed files, at least we can go back to the previous Friday. And we have backups of each Friday going back to, I think we have 3 months. So we have going back, actually, we have into December. We have the Saturday, the last Saturday backup, then we have 1 month daily. We have 1 month of daily backups to go back, and then an offsite. We have some 2 terabyte external drives. I just take them offsite just for security. It would be nice to have it go out remotely and have it done, so we wouldn't have to shuttle these back and
All
forth.
the munis, 100% of all the munis data is backed up.
Yes,
All 100% of all the tax information is backed up.
yes.
But after that, and probably town administrators' information is backed up. But after that, everything else is kind of out there.
No, every night, well, I can enumerate them, I hope I don't miss any. All the servers, which would be our Munis server,
Yeah.
our CAMA server, our GOTMS server, our Laserfish server, which is kind of, it doesn't have that much data, but that's backed up, and our Point server, and then the administrative ones, there's Greg and his assistant, Linda Hamill, and Karen Marlins,
Okay.
Joe Tassoni's, the treasurer, the assistant town finance director, Pam Duvall, Lorianne Galvin, the assessors, the
Clerk?
town clerk, definitely.
Good.
No question about it. There's two users in the collector's office that are heavy users. They use, for tax title is one, that's backed up. Going down the line,
That's okay.
Ellison Olson,
I feel better now that you at least.
there's
You
Heidi,
take it home at night, every night, the backups, so they go home with you?
I take the backup, I make a backup of a weekly, the previous weeks on Saturday, and every night, there's a backup made to the servers, and there's another 2 terabyte.
That all stays here on site.
One gets rotated. We have two 2 terabytes, and they get rotated. So the